I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined as always by my mainest man, Willie Saylor. Willie coming at us from Easton, PA. To my right, the wrestling nomad, Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr. To my left, Stephen Kyle Bradkey. And I'm Christian Piles for the second time. And you know what? We're a wrestling show second and a conspiracy theory show first. And we've always said that. And so we go, and we're like, okay, episode 322. What does that number mean? What area code is it? So we look, and it's not an area code used in in America. It's just in Mexico. And that's kind of weird. And then Willie does a little bit of digging, gets us on the rabbit hole. It's because of the Illuminati, the Skull and Bones. Their number is 322. And for that reason, that's the only reason I can come up with is why there's no area code, so we can't talk about wrestling. The Illuminati is not letting us talk about wrestling right now. They want to make it about themselves, trying to hide in plain sight. And that got me and Kyle and Nomad. Nomad, unsurprisingly,
subject matter expert.
Is a subject matter expert on all things conspiracy theories. And he got us going. First, it started with the number 322, right? Okay, because that's the thing. Then we start looking. Tim Russer, are you familiar with him, Willie? He took George W. Bush and John Kerry to task over this, over their involvement with his secret society. And they didn't even deny it, or the number 322. And then Tim Russer passed away soon after, tragically. So then Nomad's got us on another thing. Talk about the other thing you got us on.
What, MKULTRA?
Yeah, MKUltra. I hadn't even heard of this.
So MKUltra, I forget if it's FBI or CIA, but anyway, government developed.
Goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, government developed mind control, and a lot of this revolves around the entertainment industry, Hollywood and the music industry. And so I got them on the MKUltra glitches YouTube video, in which people look like they kirk out for no specific reason, other than it's like when you're under MKUltra, you're under mind control, you have certain beliefs, and you're supposed to act a certain way, and they basically glitch and need to be reset like a robot, including Zuckerberg saying, I was human. I am human. I still am human. Very strange.
Yeah, dude, Willie, there's a lot of weird stuff out there, man. It started as a joke, us talking about it, and then I do a little bit of digging, a little bit of YouTube research. Let's go straight to the top, Sailor.
The number 321 is a county in Florida, and right off the coast of that county is an island owned by the Skull and Bones group.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a 321. There's an area code 321. There's an area code 323. No 322.
Oh my gosh. This is freaking me out, to be frank. Okay.
I've never been as woke.
No. Never has. And there's going to be more. Maybe we'll drop a woke nugget per show, just so you guys are aware, because we owe it to the wrestling nation to keep you guys safe, to make sure you're aware of the threats around you, both seen and unseen.
Do your Googles on the Bilderberg Society.
Yeah. Yale's got this whole thing started. All these Ivies.
Yep.
Skull and Bones, it's not good. But anyways, we'll move on to other hijinks. I guess we should probably talk about we mentioned the McGregor Khabib fight on a previous show, and then it happened and it was crazy. And we're not MMA experts, none of us claim to be. But it was interesting to see mainstream sports fans get a little taste of that Russian magic. This is like a shocking scene that a wrestler or a competitor would leave the cage and go attack. This is like literally Russian cadet trials. Actually, it's tamer because there's no AKs.
There's no guns pulled.
Where are the guns? So this is and that's why Khabib, at the press conference, he's like, why are you guys talking about this? Why is this? He doesn't even hardly understand that this is a huge, huge deal in sport, that you just win a fight, jump the cage. But this is just standard operating procedure in Russia, Dagestan. So, you want to call it different culture? Okay, different culture, sure. But I call it just maybe a little less civilized.
To Conor, what he was doing was he was selling a fight. He was promoting the fight. To Khabib, that is the biggest the biggest
Yeah.
insults ever that you can have against somebody. And when they insult you, you fight them in Dagestan.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he did fight him.
I know. And
He punched him in the face
Yeah.
around 100 times, then he strangled him till he tapped. Like, Khabib, you won, buddy, but that's not enough. It wasn't
No.
enough for him. And, yeah, so that was definitely insane. I mean, the whole fight was pretty crazy. Khabib clearly better. I don't know why Conor McGregor would even entertain a rematch, but he's already talking about it. There's no world where I think he could win that fight, but
It's incredible that Conor is so terrible at wrestling.
no, it's not incredible. Actually, he did pretty good initially. He's a boxer, and he stopped a takedown from a really good wrestler.
Really good. I don't know. He's terrible at wrestling. He can't stop takedowns hardly at all. And he knew that he was going in there with Khabib. I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing to, if McGregor fights somebody that's a stand-up guy and he gets taken down, okay, well, he might not have been prepared for it. He had months to train for a guy that he knew was going to try to take him down, and he still, I don't know.
Willie,
And
why
McGregor's-
don't you train for a few months to stop James Green's takedown? Just specifically for James Green. Let's just see.
Conor's a terrible wrestler, Christian. I mean, there's no way around that. And he didn't look like. I mean, he didn't look like he trained a bit.
In McGregor's defense, I don't know of anyone that's fought Khabib that has stopped his takedowns.
Yeah.
I'm saying Conor's always been bad at stopping takedowns, and it didn't look like he trained much differently.
Yeah, I'll disagree, but that's fine.
I mean, he's bad. And well, I mean, to your point, right? Why would he fight him again?
I have no idea. He will never
He's
beat
gonna
him.
go different. You can't. He was almost equal in the stand-up, and he was vastly superior in the wrestling game. So what's gonna change?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I just think it's bullcrap that they're withholding his purse, and they didn't give him the belt.
Yeah.
And I think all the wrestling people were like, "LOL Dagestan," and the mainstream people were like, "Strip his belt. He is a heathen. He is awful." And then more rational people were like, "Well, Conor kind of threw a dolly, and like Conor's dirty, and the fight game is dirty.
Oh, for sure.
Like this isn't new. This isn't new in boxing. This isn't new in MMA, and frankly, it's not new in wrestling. The fight game's dirty. Okay, this is what happens when you deal with people from that area of the world. That's just how they operate." And it's going to keep happening because I bet more Dagestanis and Eastern Europeans go into combat sports, and they're going to be awesome, and they're going to be affiliated with some shady characters.
Well,
just like the Fertitas.
Yeah, I appreciate an organization that's maybe trying to hold people to a slightly higher standard. Russians do whatever they want essentially in wrestling, right? There's no repercussions when there's guns pulled, as far as I can tell. So I can appreciate that, but yeah, I mean, as far as in the competitive realm, he choked that guy out, give him the belt, and I guess give him his purse too. But who knows? That's how it goes sometimes. Who's number one happened. It was great. A few guys that were super impressive. But I want to, before we start, like getting into the minutia of the matches, I want to talk about something that, I mean, it was actually a question we were asked, but something I was thinking about. The who's number one rule set. You know, Julian Ramirez, Carson Karchla wrestled freestyle match, put up some points, and thinking about some of the matches we saw where, frankly, there was not a lot of action. And maybe you can blame folk style, maybe you can blame tactics, but man, is it time to move this event to strictly freestyle? Think about it.
I don't know. Some of the kids were tight. I mean, it was 1-0. No, obviously no takedowns with Barnett and Kerr. It was same situation with Decatur and Figs. I don't know what exactly the problem is. I don't think historically in the past we've had problems with tight matches.
True.
I don't know. I really don't know. Is freestyle just inherently more entertaining now?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that could be part of it. It's definitely a great style. I don't know. I was just a little like, man, there's another way. All these kids are wrestling freestyle basically. Although we asked them at the thing, and quite a few of them were like, no, I prefer folk style. And I actually liked how, I forget if it was O'Toole or Barnett, like you really have to earn your points in folk style. And I think there is something to be said for that. There's no like cheap twos or anything like that. And
I think it was O'Toole.
O'Toole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I kind of like that take. You can tell Askren's influence is very present with that one. So, yeah, I don't know. Something to consider because there were definitely a few matches where I was like, man, this is tough. And, like, with freestyle, there's a lot of things that are keeping the wrestlers accountable. And, you know, you got the passivity warnings. You have a lot of ways that force action. And the edge, right? So, I don't know. I was definitely thinking, like, man, maybe it's time to consider this. Freestyle's awesome. And I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, Nomad.
I mean, if there was a step out in the Illyria's-Lachau match, Illyria's would have teched him.
Yeah, that was one of the more that was a match where, like, in terms of like how the flow went, it was like, man, Illyria's is so much better, and he's only up by 1 point because no passivities really, and Lachau was doing enough to stay in the center, and I don't know. I think it would have been yeah. Well, for sure, Illyria's techs him in freestyle. I would almost guarantee that, right? So yeah, I would like to. Maybe we consider it. Maybe we think about it moving forward, switching up the style. What do you think, KB?
I like it. The mat, like the way it's with the big white outline there,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of puts you in that like freestyle mind
Yeah.
already. And it was a couple times it was like, oh yeah, they're doing the coin flip for top bottom, you know? So, no, I like it. I think kids are transitioning now more to favor freestyle than in the past. And I think it could definitely lead to more points and exciting moments.
And of course, you mentioned this at the beginning, like tactics play in, right? Like, I mean, Richie Figs was way underweight of what Jacob Decatur was, right? So maybe he didn't want to engage as much because he was giving up so much weight, right? Barnett knows that Kurt McHenry basically wins matches on his feet. So if you can play defense and keep yourself from getting taken down and win the mat game, which, Kurt didn't take bottom, you can win. So again, it's easy for us, right, to kind of critique the matches, and obviously we want the matches to be great. They were all great last year, but kids are trying to win, number one spot, so they're going to wrestle a certain way. But yeah, I do think the freestyle rule set encourages action more.
Did we have one? How many folk style turns did we have in this?
Folk style turns?
Yeah.
Well, how do you count Avis O'Toole, the cradle?
That would be a folk style turn.
Well, that's
And
what I'm saying.
then Winston got back points.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
Oh,
none of them
did
were
he?
like, yeah, at the end there.
Oh yeah, at the end.
None of them were like
No,
turns
like
from top.
Yeah, like
right,
a tilt
like,
or a
yeah.
bar.
It was kind of scrambles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned the guys choosing neutral. You guys obviously didn't listen to the broadcast of it because you were there watching, but I was dumbfounded when Decatur went neutral in the third. Because Figueroa he's fine on top, but Decatur had gotten away previously. I just didn't. You have 2 minutes to get 1 point. I mean, the odds of him holding you down, unless you really thought he was going to turn it, were crazy to me. And then his inactivity on his feet.
Especially with, I tweeted, I don't know, 6 months ago about, or 9 months ago about why the auto bottom in college went. But in high school, there's no riding time. It doesn't matter if Jacob Decatur gets an escape with 10 seconds left.
Right. And, at that point, you have to figure, if you're hustling on bottom, the guy's going to get warned at some point on top. If you're getting up to your feet, so now you have like a potential stall situation. That confused me a lot. And man, there's not a lot of action in that match. And same with the McHenry Barnett one. I did think that Kurt probably would and maybe even should go neutral there, but man, he could not get it going. And Kurt had and that was one thing that I think, if Kurt re-wrestles that match, I wonder if he does this a little differently. He came out so unbelievably passive, hand on the mat, hanging out there.
Oh, the first minute, yeah.
If you know, and Kurt McHenry probably knew, if this is 1-0 or scoreless and I have choice, I'm going neutral. If you know you're going to go neutral, you think you would want to not make it have to come down to that second or third period, that you would want to come out aggressively and get a takedown or something going. But he that was the most reserved I'd ever seen Kurt wrestle on his feet.
Well, coming into the match, I thought that Kurt, and I think I said this in the preview, I thought that Kurt would win this match if he could score from front head. And here's the thing: Barnett didn't shoot to get in front head.
No.
There wasn't too many occasions that Kurt was there.
Well, and it's clear. I thought it was clear. Barnett watched the tape of how Master Giovanni beat Kurt in the National Prep Finals because Kurt went neutral there too, and the first when he wrestled Master the first time at Beast of the East, he took him down late. Couldn't take him down at National Preps. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We got a question about it, but like there is a certain book on Kurt right now, and it involves making him go neutral, not making him feel confident in his mat game, and keeping him from scoring.
Yeah,
which like is obvious. Like okay, keeps somebody from getting a takedown, you're gonna be able to beat him. But like that's literally how Kurt wins.
But Mastro took him down in the second match, and two.
Well, in overtime.
Right. And two, Kurt has to score, right? Isn't it a little concerning that he couldn't score on him?
Yeah, and
it wasn't close.
And here's the thing. He's so the size was a thing. I mean, you could see it in the match. You could see them wrestling each other. It's two different weights, and that's not Barnett's fault. It's not Kurt's fault really, but it's a reality of wrestling. Giving up that size hurts. He's a 13, probably really in reality he's a 6-pounder, and he's going up trying to get the competition. But man, it makes it tough. And
I asked him if he wanted to wrestle 13, and he said no, he wanted to wrestle 20.
Yeah, which I can certainly respect. So a few of my favorite guys who are eye-opening to me, Jojo Aragona maybe gets the MVP award. He dominated both matches. That O'Toole match was not close. It was all him. He attacked the entire time. I can't recall O'Toole even getting to a leg. Aragona, in year over year, the improvement that guy has shown, I was thoroughly impressed. I think he's a great prospect. D1. I couldn't believe how badly he beat both those guys because I think a lot of both of them. And then, O'Toole smashing Abbas kind of seems weird, but Abbas is kind of he makes mistakes in his wrestling and can be a little reckless. So, but even still 8-0. So, but JoJo leaves unquestionably the number one guy in the country defending it, running the gauntlet, winning both those matches. So he really impressed me. I think Andrew Alirez was the best guy in the building. I think he's one of the best guys in high school wrestling, period. And I'll mention this. Obviously, Facundo is clearly the truth and is just going to be the runaway number one prospect for that class, I have to imagine. And one thing with Facundo is like his athleticism, I think, is a little underrated. I think he is such a skilled tactician that like you don't always see like with his elbow control stuff, which we didn't even see Sunday night. But he's great there. There's so many ways he can score. And then his little Olay defense against Balmaceda. I mean,
Cuban leg defense was incredible.
He wasn't really in that match. He got away from Balmaceda, who is not easy to get away from. I mean, Balmaceda is maybe one of the best top wrestlers in the country right now. Got away from him. He's just a sophomore. I can't imagine what he's going to be, but he's certainly ahead of his time, and I can't wait to see what he becomes.
And that was in folk style. You look at the tape of him from Cadet Worlds when he's in that quad pod position and he's hitting guys for 4 instead of just trying to get the takedown. Mm-hmm. Like that, just things like that speak to the high levelness of him, that he can go side arch in those situations, and just the intelligence of, well, 4 is greater than 2 here, right? And not only is it greater than 2 here, it's greater in terms of criteria down the line, right? Trying to game plan the match. So, I mean, Willie and I have talked about him ad nauseum.
And he's super tough too. Yeah. Balmaceda tried to muddy that up, make it a little. And he was hitting him hard, some hard clubs, and Facundo unfazed and just stayed the course. And then I think this is hilarious. So Karchla is like the hottest name for this senior class. Everyone wants this guy. And watching Twitter and all like the athletes attached to certain programs and coaches quote tweeting all this stuff, it's like, man, they want Karchla so bad. He is just like
Minnesota, NC State, Ohio State, Oklahoma State were all had like wrestlers tweeting about him or retweeting stuff. It was funny to watch.
I can't believe NC State didn't get Darren Caldwell involved. I was literally waiting for him and Quentin Godley to join it as well, because it was like everyone associated with the program is like, wow.
Logan Stever.
Yeah, Logan. They're all over him. Everyone wants this kid.
I'll tell you what, him and Devin Winston were so impressive off the mat to me. They're mature and articulate and just good guys, man. I think both those guys are going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Karchla, there's no way, barring an injury-plagued career, I don't see how he's not at least very good, All-American contender right out the gate.
Very high floor.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if he'll ever be an NCAA champion. I don't know if that's his pedigree, but like you can see that with Facundo, that guy's gonna win NCAA titles. I don't know about that for Karchla. I think he could, but I think, man, you can plug that guy in for 4 years and you're gonna have someone really, really good that's gonna do it the right way, wrestles really hard, and the other thing, you say high floor, and I'm kind of like, meh, how high is the ceiling? But the way he's emerged in the last year is he just like sort of coming into his own a little bit, and maybe we have another year or two where he's making major jumps.
Well, this is a group. I mean, you look at O'Toole and Willie talked about this a lot, but you look at the guys who are doing really well right now from the class of 2019. They are peaking at the right time, right? Like, you look at their freshman and sophomore results, you go, okay, whatever. But like, that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't matter anymore.
Oregon hasn't won a state title.
Right.
That's crazy to me. Also, I was really surprised to learn that.
Karchla, I mean, just to repeat again, I don't know if we've said it on the show, but he didn't compete until like high school.
Yeah.
His dad had him train all through his whole life, but he didn't compete till high school. So he's been less on the map, than a lot of guys.
Yeah, for sure.
It was also nice to see Greg D get a win. Obviously, Dagestan kind of, again, one of those surprise number ones. After making the Cadet Greco team, winning Fargo, but Greg D has had some losses at really high levels, and that's why he's kind of been at the 3 through 5 instead of that 1 through 2 range. So good to see him get a win, and just really impressed with him. But I think Burks is going to be a really interesting prospect from the 2020 class next year.
Christian, what was your thoughts on Jordan Decatur and Josh Saunders?
I thought, I don't know. Saunders didn't really get a whiff. I thought it was a good demonstration of Decatur's having good positioning. I think his go-behinds are really, really nice. He can go really fast to his right and left, which I think really bodes well for him at the next level. If you can get those kind of, call them cheap points, but they're a lot more simple. You're not going through someone's head, hands, and trying to finish. I thought the match, we were kind of deprived of like how good the match could have been because Saunders had his hand on the mat, kept his hips back, wasn't really engaging. And so as a result, we can get many high-level flurries that I think they're both capable of. And, that's a tactic that Saunders probably was wise to employ. He lost by 2, and maybe he could have snuck something out at the end. But
yeah, now that you mention it, I think maybe the problems that we saw, I think maybe kids watch too much film. Because seriously, because they were concerned more about what the other guy was doing than what they weren't doing. Because Saunders, what his game has become, he's gotten really good at close short ties and finding an angle to a leg, and he's gotten really good at it. We didn't see that once, mostly because, like you said, he was waiting for that distance shot from Decatur.
Yeah, I mean, his knee pull is really, really nice. He's solid there. But, I don't even know if he had a lock on it, even on one occasion. So, I think a lot of both of them. I really like Saunders a lot. But that's, yeah.
I want to make a quick point about because Christian said Lirez is maybe the best guy in the building. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But he cut nothing for this, by the way. Like, he could have weighed in with his gear on and been underweight, right? that going up in weight really helped him because last year at Akron, he wrestled Jordan Decatur and lost 12-2. That was at 58 kilos, which is 127, 128. So that allowing himself to get big and not worrying about cutting weight and just worrying about
Wait, what do you mean last year? Like literally April?
2017.
Okay, so that's like a year.
So I'm saying
that's a year and a half.
He put on 20-some-odd pounds,
Yeah.
right, from not having to cut weight and was just able to focus on his technique in that single leg. And it's like, oh, this is this kid's ceiling now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just emerging. I don't know if it's a cutting weight thing, but yeah, what he was able to do, he beat Caden Gefeller, he beat Nick Lee, Yaya Thomas, all this spring and summer. I think he's, for that reason, I think he's the best guy in the building. All right, who's number one? We got some who's number one specific questions we get to. Any other things? Any other takeaways?
It's just nice again to have a women's match. Hopefully we get another one there next year. And yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what the listeners thought about who's number one, what their questions are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get to questions from our friends.
Already?
We already so there's a couple people have taken my words to heart and have created. We said the medium for now to submit questions is Twitter, and that's it. And it's only because it's easier for me. That's why. Okay, I need you to deal with it. It's a great way to just simply compile them, screenshot them, throw them in there. So this guy is literally the FRL Inquisitor. Now, we already answered his question side by side. Do you find free more entertaining than folk Sunday? And I'll say, yes, I did. But I want to acknowledge that someone is literally just making a Twitter account to ask FRL questions. This is the template.
That's good by him.
Thank you, FRL Inquisitor. And because there's also one called FRL Questioner, too. He hates Nomad. I think it literally says that in his bio. Which
that's not nice.
Yeah, that's not nice. So that's not a good way to get your question asked.
Delete your account.
It's actually my own burner account for myself. It's very meta.
That's so meta. All right. In the event that Khabib can't participate in UFC anymore, do you guys think Khabib will try and wrestle for Russia? Interested on your guys' opinion on how Khabib would do in that lineup, or would he make the team? So it's so interesting. I asked this because not that I really find this question all that interesting, but it kind of speaks to the perception around Khabib that because he implements wrestling really well in his fighting, that he is somehow a world-class wrestler just because he's from Russia. And for all we know, he could be, but has he ever competed that we know of? Is there like a single full deke result? Like, I have no idea
there's not a full deke result.
Right. So it's like, all right, he took down an Irish boxer, and he takes down everyone. He's like 27-0 or something crazy. But I have no idea how he would do. I default to, I don't think he would be a top 5 guy for Russia at 70 or whatever weight he would be. Probably.
Another question, one of the questions was, who's a better wrestler, Khabib or Pico? I mean, is that a real question?
Yeah, people think,
is that
listen,
real?
I'll tell you this. When GSP was double-legging everyone, taking people down, people would be like, how would it go with him and Burroughs wrestling?
Yeah,
a lot of wrestlers would ask me that. Like, so when people use wrestling really well in their fighting, it kind of gets projected beyond maybe where it should. And now I'm not saying, like with Khabib and GSP probably could have been he's a world-class athlete. He probably could have been a world-class wrestler if that's what he dedicated his career to.
Yeah, could have been.
Same's probably true for Khabib.
I bet you Khabib could have been, but you're watching them take down guys, and sometimes dominantly, like Khabib consistently, across many fighters, everybody he fights. But you're watching them take down non-wrestlers.
Yeah.
What's
so they're above average, and everybody else is below average. I mean, there's no question. The Pico question's just amazing to me.
What's more interesting to me is, so Khabib obviously from Dagestan, and if you follow a lot of the Dagestanis on Instagram, they were all, rah-rah, go Khabib, Sedge Live put out a video with like a whole bunch of people behind him. What I want to know is, was Khabib accepted, like, was he their friend, was he accepted before he switched to fighting? Because he obviously, I don't think, started in fighting. Like there was obviously wrestling background there. Or was it kind of like, haha, this dude, he can't make the team. He's going to go fight. That's cute. And now it's like, oh yeah, we always loved him. He was our boy. We knew he was going to be an awesome fighter. That's what I want to know. And I don't know that I'll ever find that out, but that's kind of what I find interesting. Like, did they clown on him and he went to fighting because he wasn't good enough at wrestling, and now has more money than them, or were they always like, nah, man, you go fight, we'll hold down wrestling, we'll support you. That's what I want to know.
I don't know, buddy. So here's the FRL questioner.
Do you want to hear his bio, by the way?
Yeah, read it.
Things I love: PSU wrestling, always being right all the time, and hating Nomad's guts.
Wow. He literally hates your guts. Your very innards. He despises them. Your
Your
spleen.
intestinal tract.
Small intestine. Large intestine.
The whole kit.
Your
and
heart.
caboodle. Appendix.
Do you still have your appendix?
Yes, my father does not, but I do.
Oh, my gosh. Thanks. I was about to ask about your dad's appendix
Hold
itch.
on.
Well, it could be a genetic
We
thing.
need to
It could be a
circle-
genetic thing.
We need to circle back to Nomad's family at the end of the show.
Okay.
Okay? Just remind me.
I think we could just go there right now.
You want to go there right now?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
there. Let's do it.
Nomad,
Oh, my gosh. I know what you're about to say.
guys, remember when something happened to Nomad's car?
Yeah.
Let's tell the. Oh, hold on. I'm not gonna tell the story, but you need to know there was Grand Theft Auto. Nomad was in downtown Austin. He walked through an alley. It was a small mistake, and he was robbed / sort of mugged by a bunch of vagrants. They took his keys, they took his hat, and they stole his car. And they found it. They did a soup kitchen with it in Houston, and he didn't have a car for a really long time.
It's called the soup kitchen.
And
So we're at Who's Number One, and his parents come up to Who's Number One, and we have a dinner the night before, and his mother, God bless her, is like, "Oh, how do you like being home, Willie?" And I'm like, it's good to be around family. He's like, "Yeah, Nomad," because his mother and father call him Nomad. Nomad misses you. But I think he'll be okay down there. Do you think he'll be okay? And I said, yeah, I think he'll be okay. And she says, we never knew about his car until we listened to FRL.
they found out.
Tell his mother.
They found out his son got Grand Theft Auto'd on FRL.
My mother's a worrier, and I did not want her to worry. There's nothing she could have done, so yeah, that's why I didn't do that.
You need to tell your mother when you're in distress. That's what she's there for. She loves you.
Yeah, she does.
Call
very
your
much.
Call your mother. Call her right now. Call her.
My phone's over.
Let's get her on the show.
We also learned that he didn't tell him that he came down here to interview for the job.
That's also correct.
He just flew
What?
down here. He didn't tell him he was coming down here for the job interview.
Why does he not, Nomad?
No, man.
In case.
You don't trust interviews in Texas?
No, extrapolation of like. I'd rather tell concrete things than possible things.
Yeah. Great.
That's all.
Gotcha.
I love you, Nomad.
All right.
Talking
Talking about extrapolation, do you want to talk about the Helen thing?
No, I really don't.
No?
I don't think we should. I
I want to, but
want
We don't have
to.
to.
I don't think we should. I don't think it's good for us to do it. Is basically.
Well,
the
maybe
whole-
not good. I think it was a misunderstanding.
I don't even know if it's that. I don't even know if it's that. I really don't want to. I don't think we should. Over under 8 medals we bring home from Budapest.
is this men's freestyle specific or the whole 30 person?
That's what I would assume.
Because it's under. If
Yeah.
it's men's freestyle specific.
Yeah, 8 is a whole lot. I hate this.
We're not gonna
piece
get 8.
so much. Well, how many did we get last year?
7, 8, 6.
6.
We had 6.
It's only 8 weights though.
Okay, we have. All right, but
Gilman Green.
they're all back. Every medal's back.
Yeah.
Plus Dakin Taylor. It's not audacious.
It's not audacious. It's just
So much has to happen for a medal.
it has to go right again.
It's basically no. There's slight room for error because I'll say this: I think we probably have 9 strong medal threats, and then I don't know about Cologne now in for Nishan, and not that Nishan was necessarily he wasn't probably a medal threat. He was kind of like a lightning in a bottle, maybe good draw, things happen.
How do you feel about that? I mean, in terms of, when the dust is settled, we have Cologne. Do you feel like our medal chances are any greater or less at 61? Because I really don't.
No.
I thought pre-tournament, right? Like, Nishan could go on a run, sure. But Cologne's always been the more steady guy. I feel exactly the same.
I feel similar. I do think there is that upside component with Nishan in that he can generate offense in a way that many foreigners won't have seen. He can just do something really special. But his parterre holes, some of his defensive issues, as great as he is, I think it would have been it'd have been asking a lot for him to medal. But beyond that, I think we have 9 really strong medal threats. I mean, Logan Stieber is probably the next lowest one, maybe in perception, and the guy's a freaking world champ with a win over Aliyev this year, right? But yeah, 8 is a ton. 8 is a ton. It's not. I think it's going to be in that range, though. I really do. I think we'll be at the 6, 7, 8 range.
Yeah, maybe in that range, maybe with a chance, maybe 6, 7, 8 guys wrestle for a medal. It's just that's a lot, man. It's a lot to go right. I mean, you say that, and we had 6 last year, and we had Taylor and Dake.
Yeah. I mean, I would be surprised if either of those guys didn't medal. I would genuinely be surprised if they didn't medal.
That's true.
I mean, Taylor is. I'm not saying he's our biggest gold lock, because he's not, but he might be one of the. I just cannot see a scenario where he doesn't medal. I don't see how it's possible. He's so much better than basically everyone else but Yazdani Charati. And maybe
what's the seeding situation there? Are any of those? None of them are seeded, so theoretically, they could all lump together.
David's the 2?
Pretty sure.
But Karugliev is not, right? And Yazdani certainly is not.
Yeah, Yazdani definitely isn't. So we could see Yazdani Taylor first round.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, the point is not even could we see 2 of them hit early. The point is, could 3 of them be bunched up on the same side?
Yeah, I guess that would be the one.
Because that would be the only possible scenario I could see.
Yeah, he loses to Yazdani. Yazdani somehow loses to. But I don't see. He would have to lose to the Russian, I would say, because I don't see any way the Russian would beat Yazdani Charati.
On a positive note, I don't know. I've talked about how Taylor's had trouble with Torre Blanca Peralta, and again, I don't think Taylor would lose to Torre Blanca Peralta, but they're on opposite sides. Torre Blanca Peralta that's the Cuban, will be the 4 seed. David will be the 2 seed. So, just nice not having to wrestle that guy again, because he's clearly a pain to wrestle. So, for what that's worth.
Do you think, Mr. Amazing, do you think the officiating was so good at who's number 1 because college out of bounds is easier to call, or because big tournaments like Ironman and Super 32 have higher bad officials? Well, I'm not going to say they hire bad officials, so I'll reject the premise. But we did have, literally one of the best officials in the world, Sammy Julian, so that helps. 2, I don't think there were that many super tough calls to make. I thought Elias' cradle on the edge was close, but not too. And kind of clearly so. So I don't think there were a lot of tough ones. And so does the high school or going to college out of bounds make things simpler? Yes, because we see it all the time. And you want to talk about Ironman. I don't know if it's bad officiating, but you think about the Karchler Rocky Jordan thing. The high school out of bounds rules are so crazy because, man, the guys end up in the chairs and you could be dragging your toes, but if they're in the coach's corner, there's a lot of weird ways.
I will say, yeah, my first reaction was no, it doesn't. But, when Super 32 went to college out of bounds rules, things got better.
Yeah, it helps.
Now, I will say, officiating at Ironman is atrocious. It's a reputation for being atrocious. But the refs are also not helped out by the small mats and maybe perhaps more importantly, the small out of bounds, the small skirt area.
Yeah.
Because, at who's number 1, not only do you have college out of bounds, but also the officials don't have to worry and blow with the whistle earlier because they're afraid the kid's going to hit their head. There's so much room.
Right. Okay. So, no, I love college out of bounds. I know there's reasons that high school can't maybe go to it, but I love that, a tournament, if you're Super 32, you can and you do. Flow Nationals, we can and we do. Who's number one? It's a better overall product. Fewer restarts, more action on the edge. I love everything about it. It's great. Marshall Brooks, why do you have Chad Redd? This is weird.
I answered this dude on Twitter last night because I didn't think
Well,
we
the
would talk
question's
about
weird.
this.
Well,
The question's written bad.
yeah, he said, why do you have Chad Redd ranked over Nick Lee? We don't. Just because of last year's placements, or do you really believe Nick Lee will beat Chad Redd? So Nick Lee is ahead of Chad Redd because he had a much better year. He beat Chad Redd. He beat Kevin Jack. So yeah. And he outplaced him at NCAA.
I looked up last night. He beat 5 guys that Chad Redd lost to.
Yeah. So also, our opinion on who we think would win the match has nothing to do with how we rank it anyways. Now, I will say that I do personally believe, if you're going to ask, I do think Nick Lee is probably better than Chad Redd now. But that doesn't factor into ranking whatsoever. So there you go. John Reenan's still learning about rankings as well. Doesn't really understand how they work. It's weird. He's had a
John
nationally
Reenan-
ranked kid for 10 years. He has no idea how rankings work. It's pretty tough
tries
scene.
to mess with us and troll us, and that was no more apparent than this weekend. He tried a couple times, swung and missed.
Yeah, it's well, all you can say is tough scene. Better wrestler, Pico or Khabib? Khabib, obviously, according to Willie. No, just kidding. With all the UFC controversy going on, what would you say are some of the biggest wrestling controversies that have happened? Obviously, Cole Out is up there. Well, Kerry McCoy had his thing. 2016 Olympics. Choose your narrative there.
2017 U23, Iran letting a guy lace him, a Russian lace him, because Sammy Brooks lost to the Israeli and would have to wrestle him next round.
Yep. The lost on purpose for the Israel dynamic. And also, last year, the Russian against Korea was up there when they didn't start the clock and they let it go. And, man, that was really sad.
Yeah.
That was really bad. But you have to go all the way back to last year for that one. What was the most impressive and or unexpected performance at Who's Number One? This guy says #new Facundo fan. Yeah, for some of you guys, you're getting your, college kind of drives the boat here. That's most popular of any style. So you're the way it works, you tune in for the high level stuff. And so if you haven't seen Facundo yet, yeah, it's a revelation. And there are a lot of teams there, a lot of D1 coaches there. And believe me, they all have their eyes on Facundo. I think the most unexpected, I didn't think Aragona would win that easily in both matches. I didn't think he was that much better than Gabe Tag and that much better than Keegan O'Toole. So that would be mine.
Concur.
Yep.
Sweet. We get this question every now and again, but we can ask it again because not everyone has listened to every episode. All 322. #Skull and Bones. What's a more impressive feat? 4-time AA or 1-time national champ who never placed before he won the whole thing? An example, would you rather have Zach Sanders' career or Mike Machiavello? So this is interesting. The way I approach this, if I'm a coach, I want the 4-time AA, right? Mm-hmm. Probably. But I don't know what a competitor feels. Like, what would you prefer? I bet, even though every competitor would probably acknowledge a 4-time AA is more elusive and tougher to do, they would rather have that national championship than a 4-time AA. That's what I think they would probably say.
The question's like two different. Like the more impressive I think is 4-time AA, like the ability to do that over 4 years, stay healthy, everything. But if I were to choose, I would take Machiavello's career.
Yeah, for me, this is like as a competitor, no brainer. Give me the chip.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm 0-100 going into the conference tournament my senior year. If I win those last 10 matches and get that title, I don't care. I'm an NCAA champ forever.
Or even more of a legend too, because
you were 0-100.
You're 0-100.
Yeah, that'd be something. I'd be curious how you got into the tournament at 0-100.
Well, I
He
won
won
my
his
conference tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You won your.
That's why I said go into the conference tournament, win the conference tournament, then win NCAAs.
Wow. So you would be, let's say you won let's say you won EWL.
Mm-hmm.
So you were 2-100, unseeded,
So 7 and 100.
So
Yeah.
you were 7 and 100 NCAA champ. Now Mark Branch doesn't look so good.
No, not at all.
Really kind of puts it in
Yeah,
perspective.
I mean, Jake asked a lot of questions. Jake Agnich is the guy who asked the question. He asked a lot of good questions. Big fan of wrestling. But for me, personally, I would rather be a national champ, like anything.
Same.
Easy. I'd rather be a 4-time national champion.
Derek Moore also had this same career. He also was a
Never placed. Then
and then smoked
then
everybody.
he teched Ryan Lang in the
That was
finals.
crazy.
Okay. Is there a wrestler outside the top 5 at 149 that can win a title? Yes. Number 6, Lugo can. I don't know about Oliver. I don't know about Thompson. Yeah, maybe not many. I thought this weight was a little deeper. Maybe not. Regardless, yes, there is someone outside the top 5 that can win. Next question. Oh, this guy asks every day for the Penn State versus Iowa All-Star matchup, please. I think we should do it Thursday. What do you think, Willie?
I think Thursday's good. We need a little time to prep.
But Sam, you have to ask. You have to ask on Thursday. Otherwise, we just won't do it. So Sam Herring, Sam Wise _2006. You need to stay consistent, because if you don't ask for it, I don't know if you're gonna want it. And then this guy is staying woke. Jake from State Farm. Do you think Khabib staged the whole after-fight brawl because he's from Dagestan and was going to pee hot? That's the nomad level. Stay woke. I don't think that was involved.
I also don't think
Yeah.
this helped him avoid the drug test.
I think they probably still tested him. He doesn't look like a guy that would pee hot to me.
He's not like a physical specimen.
No, he's
at
just
all.
kind of like a little rangy. Yeah, he doesn't look that strong.
As I said in the last FRL, or whenever that question was asked, like, I don't watch MMA. I was supremely underwhelmed with Connor.
It was hilarious
Like,
to
he
watch
looked
with Nomad.
so bad. Maybe Khabib was just that great. Again, I don't watch MMA. But, like, I was kind of like egging on the kids, like, this is your hero? Like, this is the guy that all the best high school kids are like, McGregor. Like, this dude got his you-know-what kicked.
But it's all about they love McGregor because they love his personality, his bravado. It's more style over substance.
But
I mean,
to that
he's
point,
good.
but to that point, a lot of wrestlers, understandably, are like, you have to back up the crap that you talk, right? You have to walk the walk. And McGregor did not walk the walk on Saturday night.
No, he got.
It was hilarious to watch MMA with Nomad. He's just like discovering things. He's like, this guy's not good.
Yeah.
I just thought Khabib made him look like just terrible.
No, it was not competitive at any point. After the first period, I was like, there's basically no chance he's gonna win because he took him down so easily. Okay, we're out of questions. Anything else before we depart, friends?
Well, we certainly can talk about things. We haven't talked about NCAA previews at all.
All right, let's go.
Well,
Tee it up, brother.
and I think we kind of talked about this as we were doing the tiers. And maybe this is so. I kind of wrote about this in like the 141. It seems like this year is extremely top heavy. It seems like a lot of really good guys graduated from last year, which I feel like we already knew, and that there's just when you're making predictions, it's like, do I think certain guys can't place? Of course, they can absolutely place. But it's like, are you betting your life? Are you putting, are you, obviously not betting my life, but like, are you putting your name on a prediction where somebody who has done nothing is going to place? Like, I don't know. It just seems this year that NCAAs could either be very anticlimactic or the upsets are just going to be nonstop and completely ridiculous.
I think that's a problem every year. I think it's a problem in high school when you see guys graduate and you're left with these bunch of underclassmen. You're like, this is underwhelming. The country isn't that great. And in college, when the guys graduate, you're left with this. And because there's a lot of data and because you can focus it's not difficult to focus on 77 starters. And the resumes, it's like you think that you know what you have. You think, okay, here's my group that I'm choosing from. Things change. Kids get better. Kids get worse. You're going to think you have 8 to 12 AA contenders right now, and nobody else can. I don't see number 18 making the podium. I don't see number 15 making the podium.
We see it it's going to be that way every year.
Every year. I read Tariq Wilson last year. I mean, there was nothing to indicate that he was going to All-American up until the NCAAs.
No.
Right.
I mean, he got beat by Dennis Gustafson and somebody else.
Dom Fories.
He had more losses at ACCs than NCAAs.
Yeah,
Figure
I mean,
that out.
Ronnie Perry makes no sense. Just go incandescent. Didn't he? Did he lose at EWLs?
You might have. I don't remember.
Machiavello. I mean, all these guys. I think, man, I think NCAAs is one of those sure things where there's too many good wrestlers. The kids are too even. They're too close for there not to be chaos every single year.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be chaos every single year. When's the last year we didn't have crazy stuff? And, yeah, the team stuff, okay, that can be a little different.
Yeah, that's a little separate. Yeah.
But in terms of, man, this weight can get blown up very easily. It happens every year, and there's nothing stopping it from continuing.
Yeah, and you know, you'll see in November, the 1st of December, there will be a few results even that early that change the landscape of the weight. You add a new contender, you drop a kid down a tier, you know.
Yeah, maybe it's just I've never had to write like full on NCAA previews before, and before I started working here, I was kind of out on college for a while because I was mainly following international stuff. But like, you know, 141 preview, you look at a guy like Nate Limix. Do I think that Nate Limix is terrible and has no shot of placing? Of course not. But when I look at his career, you know, I'm like, man, you know, some things would need to change. And of course they can, right? Of course, you know, Urslan and Shop and all those guys can get him to that level. But like that was an example of a guy who I'm like, man, I do not feel comfortable picking this in a prediction thing. But it's not like this guy's a scrub thing. It's just like as Willie said, the data's not there. So yeah, maybe it's just because I haven't had to write these NCAA previews before that I'm thinking this, and then it's not actually any different than what it has been.
Well, I think that fans are savvy enough to recognize that. I mean, if you're talking about situations where, like, you know, Spade picks his top, you know, 125 guys to place, and then the four blood round losers, I think people understand it's at that point it's sort of a coin flip-ish type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, 165-pound preview is out today. Who wrote that?
Spade wrote that one.
That's an Andrew Spade, John.
Yeah.
Andrew Spencer Spay.
And who did he pick to win? Well, you'll have to click to find out, or I might just spoil it here. Give me a second.
Spoil it.
Oh, Vincenzo Joseph. How bold. Actually, he does get bold because he has Chance second, Makai
Where
Lewis
does he have Makai Lewis?
third.
It's
that's
because he's on his
fantasy
fantasy team.
He loves, yeah. Well, he's from New
Also,
Jersey.
he's from
too.
Jersey.
He's from Jersey. I like Makai Lewis, but if he got third as a freshman, I think I would be surprised. If he outplaces Evan Wick and Marinelli and Massa, that'd be something.
He picked JoJo not to place.
He did.
That's surprising.
Well, it's somewhat, but it's like, man, we haven't seen him wrestle in
Yeah.
a long time. We don't know. It's kind of like a hedge, like you throw his name in there, but I would put him on there. If you're gonna assume he's approximate to the level he was, you got to put him 7th. I mean, ahead of Steyer and Isaiah White is.
I agree.
That's where I would probably put him. I could see, Massa. That's gonna be a tough guy. Marinelli for sure, but I think you put him ahead of those dudes.
Mm-hmm.
He did make him the first round of 12 guy, so he's actually 9th.
Yeah.
If that's
What
how
are
he
the
does
other round of 12 guys?
it. John Jay, Branson Ashworth, and Connor Flynn.
Your boy.
My man Connor Flynn.
We might have to talk about John Jay after the show. Kind of looking ahead at 174. Kind of interesting watching film on guys I didn't realize. I guess because that group is also really tightly bunched together. There's a lot like McFadden and Daniel Lewis wrestled 2015 CKLV, which I was not aware of. Then they wrestled U23s. Looking back at Taylor Lujan's takedown, his boot scoot of Zahid in the CKLV semis, that was amazing.
Really nice.
Because like, you know, when I'm writing the preview, I'm kind of trying to just. I write a lot of negative things because I'm trying to like pick things apart. Because I feel like a lot of people know what people are good at, and I'm trying to be like, okay, what could cause these guys to falter? Or what could cause these? Which I'm sure a lot of people get pissed off about, but
The Illuminati,
yeah.
for one.
What could cause these guys to falter? What are the holes that or what are there areas for opportunity where if they clean this up, it's like, like Miles Amin, if his MAC game drastically improves this year, that's terrifying for everyone else.
But whose MAC game, like, tremendously improves their junior year? Like, who all of a sudden, like, gets really good on top?
Sure. It's unlikely. I'm just saying, like, that's the area for growth, right? Like, he lost on riding time to Mark. He lost on riding time to Jordan Cutler. He got ridden out by Daniel Lewis, and that's why the match,
so you're just saying
third place match went to
away.
overtime. Right, getting away.
Got it. Which wrestler or team is most vulnerable to secret societies, in your opinion?
Well, define vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Who could be corrupted, influenced by?
Because, influenced by. I mean, Penn State has a big sugar daddy in Ira.
Oh wow! So you're really connecting dots here.
I'm just saying.
Does Harvard have a bunch of secret societies like Yale?
Yeah, because Yale doesn't have a team anymore. Probably the Illuminati shut it down.
Harvard has a chapter of Skull and Bones.
What'd you say?
Harvard has a chapter of Skull and Bones.
Oh, for sure.
Harvard does?
Oh my gosh. Did they get
You know
Gabo?
where they originally started? You know where they originally started? Christian Pile.
Oh no, where?
Virginia.
Oh yeah. That's like where the country started, basically.
It's like the first 5 presidents, I believe, are all from Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
We've been leading from the front and everything.
It really does go straight to the top.
I'll tell you how powerful those secret societies are that started in Virginia. They got Tracy Piles. He didn't even have to go to 8th grade.
Yeah. No, sincerely, he dodged that because of the Illuminati. All right,
Christian, what do you? So, because October's high school month, right? Mm-hmm. It just is what it is. What are you most looking forward to the rest of this month in high school? Because we're gonna get into opening weekend very soon, like maybe next show or next week. But what's some stuff you're looking forward to the rest of this month?
Well, I mean, to me, yeah, there's some high school stuff, but it's all Super 32, right? Mm-hmm. That's where. And this looks to be even by Super 32 standards, a loaded Super 32 in terms of the ranked participants. So I will say that, but truly my heart and mind is focused on the UW World Championships. I'm really fired up for that. And it's coming very soon. We're sending in a very nice team over there, and I'm fired up for that. So while it's high school season, it's world season for me.
Yeah, it's world season.
It's world season.
Yeah, and we're gonna I think Space tackling a lot of those previews and stuff, and Bader's got some stuff from the last, well, not the last time he was in Budapest, but last time the full World Championships were in Budapest because he had the 2016. Yeah. That stuff is great. I'm excited to go back and watch the 2013 Road to Budapest stuff.
For sure. So with that, can we bid our friends adieu, Willie?
Adieu.
Tyler, our man in the control room, we are ready to depart. Feel free to play the outro music.
Can you commit to Thursday?
Well, I am verbally committed to Thursday. We will do it. We'll do an Iowa versus Penn State All-Star Team Whiteboard War.
Is that a last 10 years or an all-time thing?
Last 10 years, I think, is the request. So that's what we're going to do.
Willie, what we talk about? Who's number 1 on the show tomorrow?
Probably who's number 1 the event.
But, like, do you have new rankings?
Checks out.
Do you have new rankings coming out, or is it a ranking show, or is it just talking about who's number 1?
Well, I don't know. Rankings are coming out, yeah, but we'll probably talk about a lot of the 1s and 2s flipping.
Okay.
And Journeyman stuff. Journeyman had a great field.
Yeah, we got to get caught up on what went on there in New York. Journeyman, great high school tournament.
There's some upsets for sure.
For sure. Thank you so much to ASICS for your sponsorship of FloWrestling Radio Live, but also Who's Number 1.
Shoes look great. Kids loved them.
Mm-hmm.
Gear looked good.
Good
stuff.
Looked very, very good. So, yeah, Thursday, we're going to get it going. We will be back then. Until then, content-wise, should have a lot more NCAA previews. Some more great stuff coming. So,
stay woke.
Don't know if the song's playing. It's kind of happened last show. I don't know what's happening. I'm out of things to say. If anything happens to me,
There's music.
Oh, there it is. Now we're going.
Stay woke. Say the stuff that you know about 322.
Yes.
It goes to Bush and Kerry. There's some damning YouTube evidence. That's basically what
I'm
I'm
gonna do a deep dive tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a deep dive.
I'm gonna
Britney
watch
Spears,
MKULTRA.
Beyonce, the Kardashians, everyone's involved.
Robin Mead.
Robin Mead.
Involved.
It all goes straight to the top. Thanks so much, guys. We'll be back Thursday. See you then.